Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for our February 2023 release hop. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's coffee dies, along with their Scalloped Oval dies, Stitched Oval dies, their Scalloped Rectangle dies, their Gnome dies, the Gnome dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons, along with the Lucky Vibes brand new stamp set, along with Doodlebug's Pot of Gold 6-inch pad, the Lots of Luck 6-inch pad, and the Lots of Luck odds and ends, along with American Crafts Christmas foil pad. So right now I have a paper tray ink A2 size card base, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches. And now I'm putting down a piece of paper. Oh, I actually used the floral graph from Doodlebug as well. And I'm putting down a piece of paper 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front down. So I'm gluing that down with my ATG tape. Working on my Stampin' Up! Pad. All my die cutting today was done with my Gemini machine. Okay, so there's my sentiment from that Lucky Vibes stamp set. I cut it out with a stitched oval die, and then I'm layering it onto a scalloped oval die that was cut out of Concord & Ninth's evergreen cardstock. And then the paper that I used, that I stamped the sentiment on, that was Nina Solar White 80 pound with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. So now I'm going to put together a quick gnome. So I'm adding on, I cut the background layer with American Crafts black cardstock, and then the beard is out of a light brown. That little hat was from that Christmas foil American Crafts pad, so it's nice shiny green. So I'm going to trim off his little hat, and then I'm going to be sticking down the little hat to assemble this gnome. I've put this together before for you, but I thought I'd leave this in the video. Now, I will add the measurements for those ovals in the description box below, along with the measurement of the scalloped rectangle, as I just didn't think to write it down, but I will add those measurements to the description box below. Okay, so now I'm adding on a little hat band cut out of American Crafts cardstock in black, using my reverse tweezers and art glitter glue. There you go. Now the little buckle I cut out of gold foil cardstock from that same Christmas foil pad from American Crafts. And I'm just going to pop that down. Isn't that sweet? I really love this shiny green hat. Super fun. So I'm making an A2 sized card, like a regular card, and then I'm going to be making a shape card too for this video from for the hop. So I went ahead and I cut out this adorable cup, that's Jaded Blossom's coffee dies, out of paper from, I believe that was from the Lots of Luck 6-inch pad. And then I added on paper tray ink chocolate cardstock for the coffee, and I just glued that down with art glitter glue and weighted it down with an acrylic block. Now I'm popping up this little clover that I cut from the Gnome Dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons. That's cut out of the evergreen cardstock from Concord & Ninth. And I'm popping it up with, I think it's scrapbook adhesives. So they're a little bit thinner. So I'm going to have this cute little gnome holding onto this big cup. So I'm just trying to see how it's going to fit. Now I'm going to glue this down on top of this little gnome. I'm going to have his mustache kind of hanging over the rim, which I thought was kind of fun. And now I'm going to use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. I'll pop up his little foot. His little nose and his foot and his hands were cut out of P13 stamping pad skin tones. And I know that's not available right now. I know I'm keep saying the same thing, but you know, you could easily color some white cardstock with some flesh tone markers of your choice and cut them out that way, and they would be just great. Now I'm popping up the little hands to make it look like he's holding the mug. Isn't that cute? Just too cute. Now I'm going to put together my card. So I have this scalloped rectangle, and I'm going to tilt it to the side using my ATG tape there to stick it down. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. Okay, so I sort of tilted it. And then I'm going to pop that little sentiment down in the upper right-hand corner. And it'll just be flat to the card. So I'm just sort of figuring out where it's going to go. There we go. Lucky a latte. And then I'm going to have this gnome kind of towards the right-hand side of the card, and I will pop that up with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Now I went ahead and I cut out those little clovers. Those were also from the St. Patrick's Day, or the Gnome Dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons. perfect little clovers. Now you could also use the brand new, you know, Build-A-Booth clover add-ons. Those would be great to use as well. So I'm just using scrapbook adhesives to pop up these little clovers as sort of like an embellishment on this card. So, you know, pretty easy stuff using my reverse tweezers. And I'm going to give this a, you know, a visual triangle, right? I kind of like to do that. Now, hasn't this release been totally adorable? So cute. Now, I live in Canada, and full disclosure, when I was making this video, I still did not have the dies from Jaded Blossom. That's why I haven't used the adorable new dies from this release. But I will as soon as I get my hands on them. So don't worry, everybody. I'll use them and post some videos for you. So there we go. So I'm just pulling off that adhesive. And I'll have to add my last little clover, trying to decide where it's going to go, because, you know, like I said, a visual triangle is always a good bet, I guess you'd want to say. Okay, so now I'm adding a 1-inch strip of paper. I believe that's also from the Lots of Luck 6-inch pad from Doodlebug, and I'm just going to cut off the overhang with a pair of scissors. So, you know, easy stuff. And I'm pulling out some odds and ends from the Lots of Luck Doodlebug odds and ends set. That's what that one's from there. I'm using my art glitter glue. There we go. And I thought that gold foil one was perfect. And then I'm going to add that other little clover that I cut out from that same Gnome Dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons. So I'm just going to add that there too. And then I have a sentiment from that same Lots of Luck odds and ends from Doodlebug, and it happens to be gold foil, which kind of is perfect, right? So it says, "So lucky to have you." And I'll add that to the inside. And I'm pulling out Nouveau Crystal Drops in mustard gold. And I'm just going to add those kind of willy-nilly here, you know. Add a little bit of shine, a little bling, right? Which is lots of fun on these cards. I'm going to pull out the gold in his little buckle. And just trying to make sure I have an odd number because, you know, I'm crazy like that. And there you have it. Isn't that sweet? I just love that little gnome. Okay, now next I'm going to make a shape card using our coffee slider dies. And there we go. So I went ahead and I got a piece of paper tray ink craft cardstock, 4.25 by 11, scored it at 5.5 inches. And now I'm going to cut out this coffee slider out of the whole thing, and I'm hanging it over the edge. Okay, so basically that's what I'm doing there, and I ran it through to make myself a card base. I'm also using the Mini Tag Dies 3 to sort of line up this sentiment, Lucky a Latte, that is stamped onto Nina Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock with First Fun Claire Nocturne ink. So there is my card base. Ran it through. And then I went ahead and cut a second card base because I want to have, remember the top of the coffee cup was cut off, right? So I want to have a full coffee cup on the front for all my layering. So there you have it. So you get a full coffee cup, but when you open it up, it's shaped like a coffee cup, right? Now the paper tray ink white little coffee topper that I cut out again using the Gemini machine, using art glitter glue and some ATG tape, and I'm just going to layer that on, and I'll give that a nice little top. And I cut out the sleeve. Remember, you don't need two because you're only making, it's only going to be a layer on the front. Now that paper is Doodlebug's Pot of Gold from the Pot of Gold line, the 12-inch one. And there you go. So I just trimmed off the tab because you don't really need that tab, right? That's more for when you're making the slider. And then there is the Coffee Slider Dies add-ons. And I cut that out of that same American Crafts foil. And then I cut the belt out of American Crafts black cardstock. And now he's got like a little belt, kind of like a little leprechaun. Now on the inside, I cut a 1-inch strip of paper from Doodlebug's Lots of Luck 6-inch 6-inch pad, blah, 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 blah. Can't talk today. There we go. I'm just using my adhesive eraser to, erase off any errant adhesive. Now I will trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. This makes a super fast shape card, right? Lots of fun. And then on the inside, I'm going to use that Lucky Latte that I cut out with our Mini Tag Dies 3. And I will cut off the overhang with a pair of scissors. Now I'm going to use one of the pieces of the odds and ends from the Lots of Luck odds and ends from Doodlebug. Just trying to figure out where that's going to go. And now I did go ahead and I used the St. Patrick's Day word dies, and I cut out the sentiment Lucky from that same American Crafts Christmas foil in gold, right? And I'm going to add that up near the top of the coffee cup, just with some art glitter glue. And I do tap it off because I had a little bit too much. And there you have it. And then I will use these little clovers that I cut from that Gnome Dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons out of that Concord and 9th Evergreen cardstock. And I'm just going to pop those up with some dimension. And I'm just going to add a few in a visual triangle, just trying to decide where it'll look best. And I do pop those up with some Stampin' Up! Mini Dimensionals. There we go. Using my reverse tweezers to keep my fingers out of the way. And then, like I said, making the fastest shape card in the West. And remember, you can do this with all of Jaded Blossom's slider dies. Remember, we've got a present, we've got this coffee cup, and we've got the Christmas coffee cup. And what's the other one? Oh my gosh, I just drew a blank. A Christmas gift, a coffee cup. And I actually had to go look it up. The cupcake slider, I totally just blanked on it. So there's 3 different ones that you can make shape cards from. So really easy. Plus you could use them for sliders with gift cards or whatever you'd like. So now I pulled out Nouveau Drops in mustard gold again, and I'm just going to add them, for a little bit of bling on the front of this shape card. You could also make tags out of these, large gift tags to tie onto something, which would be lots of fun. And I'm just counting to make sure I have an odd number because, I'm crazy like that. And oops. And there you go. So there is my little normal card. And then here is my shape card for this release hop. So fun. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog. Be inspired. Do the hop. That's lots of fun. And hop on over to the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on some of these amazing new products from Jaded Blossom. You won't be sorry. They are so much fun. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we will see you soon in the next one. Bye, everyone.